A serial entrepreneur who has created and grown successful ventures including Hobby Express, Swiftwick Socks, and Advanced Communications, Mark Cleveland is CEO of Hytch LLC, a social impact technology company with the mission to embrace ride-sharing as a solution to traffic congestion and beyond. Please welcome Mark Cleveland.
Hello, I'm Mark Cleveland, and I've been given the label of serial entrepreneur. People often ask me, where do you find your inspiration? And just a moment ago, I found some inspiration right there. Man, that was incredible. But my goal tonight is to talk a little bit to you about how you would find your inspiration. And before I do, I have to pause to recognize my daughter, Piper Cleveland. As a father, I cannot resist this opportunity to wish you a happy birthday. With you, this truly is a wonderful world, and I cannot imagine a world with you not in it. And then for the rest of us, I'm thinking, can you imagine a world without the people and the experiences that bring you pure joy? Can you imagine, for example, a world without ice cream? Or a world without colorful marine life that's teeming around our reefs? So just yesterday, I was swimming on the second largest barrier reef in the world, around the island of Roatan. Piper and I were there just a few years ago, and at the time I was really concerned about the impact that humans were having on the reef system. But I'm happy to report there's been a real improvement in the vibrance of the reef system there. It's a stark contrast to global trends, and it was something that was a pleasant surprise. The topic of this speech has been on my mind throughout the last week, and where I was maybe reading on the beach Walter Isaacson's writings or searching for a glimpse of a sea turtle, all week I thought, what am I going to share tonight? And then nothing was coming to me. I had no small sense of panic. I wasn't finding my inspiration. And that surprised me too. And then it dawned on me, nothing has ever just come to me out of the clear blue sky. Inspiration to preserve the reef, for example, didn't hit just one person on the island. No, it was a coalescing of talent and passions and resources, and everyone coming together to meet the need. That community imagined the future they wanted to give to their grandchildren, and then they came together and started working to preserve it. Which brings me to my first point, which is how to find your inspiration. Forget about finding your inspiration. There's rarely a single aha moment that entrepreneurship brings. To make the world a better place, you don't need to be hit with an idea. What you need is a connection. You absolutely must be connected with your community. You must take a seat at the table and contribute, because that's where the aha moments usually come, together. Entrepreneurs don't have some secret mix of ingredients to implement world-changing ideas. They're not often given enough credit. However, we draw together the perfect mix of people who deserve the credit, with counterbalancing strengths and weaknesses to offer an inspired workplace. It's in connection with others that we keep learning. That's where we discover our talents, by trying new things. That's where we find encouragement and experience some constructive conflict, and it's where you have an opportunity to grow less fearful and more brave. So the first point is, forget about finding inspiration. Find your community. Take a seat at the table. And then the second point is to stay focused on problem solving. Don't get up from that table. Nashville's not surrounded by a reef, but we have the same epic problems that every major city has. Gridlock traffic, aging infrastructure, emissions, pollution, the things that degrade our quality of life, and we are experiencing it. Last year alone, Nashville had 20% increase in congestion. Every year in the top 50 cities in America, People drive 276 billion miles. That's over 1 billion miles every workday. The negative impacts of traffic threaten the rich living experience in our cities, just like humans threaten the living experience and diversity on the reef. So now, next Monday, happens to be the 49th anniversary of Earth Day. The theme for this year's Earth Day is Protect Our Species. The millions of diverse species that we know and love and many yet to be discovered. That's what the community of Roatan committed to preserve by taking pressure off the reef. We have a similar strategy at Hytch to preserve our cities by taking pressure off their infrastructure, to protect our air by reducing emissions, to protect our quality of life by reducing gridlock, but still be mobile. We are on a mission to reward people for reducing their carbon footprint every time they share a ride with Hytch. We focused on the problem and we asked, what if we simply pay people to share rides? Could that reinforce smart mobility habits? Well, incentives work in every business. Rewards motivate people. Why shouldn't this principle apply to our transportation crisis? 73.4% of the vehicles on the road today have a single person in them. And when you're talking about Nashville, it's more like 96%. These cars are full of empty seats. Again, what if we pay drivers and passengers to fill these empty seats? Hytch brought a new technology to the table to do exactly that, and we're starting to see some changes. I want to share some of them with you because just in the last year, Hytch users have taken 223,000 trips. We've shared 8.9 million miles. By leaving one car at home, we reduced carbon emissions equal to 179,000 trees. That's 3,500 acres of healthy forest. And 84% of the time, it's one person making the decision to share a ride with one or two other people. I'm wondering if this is how we turn the tide. So number one, find inspiration in your community. Take a seat at the table. Stay focused on problem solving and don't get up from your seat. And then number three, keep believing. Invite more people to the table. We're here tonight because we believe. We believe we can influence change and that we can make a difference. That's the overarching mission of Lipscomb University, and it's why I was drawn here to finish my degree. I wanted to take my seat at the table of a vibrant community of lifelong learners with professors, young students, veterans, full-time mothers, part-time students. Each of us were bringing something unique to the table, and each of us had talents and passions that we shared. And yes, I did get an A on my paper for Hytch. But this community is the community that reaches far beyond Lipscomb's boundaries, past this campus, and incubates and encourages solutions like Hytch every day. The same spirit exists in Nashville, in our business community. Companies like Nissan have been part of creating more seats at the table of possibility thinkers and problem solvers. And they've included a little company startup like Hytch. It seems counterintuitive though, right? For a car company to inspire people to fill empty seats in their car? Why would a car company want to see fewer single occupancy vehicles? But just like the fishermen who support the no fishing zones in the maritime parks of Roatan, Nissan can be an integral part of solving a problem that we've all created. They're encouraging innovation that excites, to sell better and more efficient cars, vehicles that last longer and cost less to own. They're encouraging the share economy, sharing empty seats in cars already on the road. Lipscomb was the first institution to embrace Hytch. Nissan was the first company to embrace our concept, and it enables each of us to think differently and to share on a global scale. That's a table of global proportions with lots of seats for the taking. In closing, my goal was to just talk a little bit about how you might find your inspiration. I find mine in my community. I want to take a seat at that table. I want to stay focused on problem solving. I don't want to get up from the table. And I want to keep believing. I want to invite you to the table. So that's your seat right there. That empty seat is an opportunity to share in problem solving. On your daily commute, the empty seat in your car is both a problem and an opportunity. Let's fill it. Thank you.